Thank you much for the opportunity to share Torah with you. There is a fascinating pasuk in this week's Parshat. The Torah tells us that Vayishlach Yaakov levado v'yavek ish imo. Yaakov, we know, got into a battle with a mysterious figure identified by Chazal as Saro Shel Esav. What is fascinating about all of this is that Torah tells us that Yaakov emerges victorious but wounded. Yaakov beat that Saro Shel Esav. However, he leaves with a limp. The Torah tells us that because of this, we have the practice, we have a mitzvah to avoid eating the gid hanasha, that part of the body of any animal in commemoration of Yaakov, who was injured there, unable to walk. So we avoid eating that part of the animal in many ways in commemoration of the victory of Yaakov Avinu. Many of the Mefarshim ask a very simple question. If we wanted to remember the victory of Yaakov, if we wanted to remember how Yaakov was so wonderful, why do we recall that victory by honing in on, by focusing on the fact that Yaakov got injured, that he was wounded in a particular location? If we wanted to commemorate that miracle, if we wanted to note and celebrate Yaakov's ability to withstand the pressure of Saro Shel Esav, I would have anticipated, I would have thought, to find a different way to celebrate Yaakov's miracle. Why specifically recall the injury as part of our remembrance of his victory? The Sefer Achinach in Mitzvah Gimel offers a very beautiful and elegant suggestion. Says the Sefer Achinach the following: it happens to be that Bnei Yisrael, throughout all of their galus, it's impossible to argue that we're going to emerge unscathed. We know what it's been to be in this exile. We know that in life there are often difficulties and challenges. We know that things are not always the way that we would like them to be. And many times in life, we emerge a little bit wounded. By remembering Yaakov Avinu, what we remember is that even though Yaakov was wounded, he was able to emerge victorious. Even though there were challenges, he was able to be successful. And in looking at, in honing in on, in focusing on the unique figure of Yaakov Avinu, what we remember is that Klal Yisrael, the Jewish people, may not always have the easiest time. There may be a variety of situations in which we feel like, I left this situation, this experience, a little bit wounded. But the value of Yaakov and what he reminds us is that ultimately we will emerge victorious. We emerged then, Yaakov beating Saro Shel Esav, and we will emerge with the ultimate geula in a significantly better place. Sometimes there's this misconception that the way that geula is going to occur is it's going to be automatic, easy, and simple. The Yerushalmi tells us geula occurs kimma, a little bit at a time, and sometimes that time is a bit of a process. And the same way that can be true for us as a nation, it can be true for us as individuals. And may we learn from Yaakov Avinu that even though sometimes we get wounded, and even though sometimes we struggle just a little bit, that ultimately the most important question and the most important thing to remind ourselves of is that we believe that we will emerge victorious. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share Torah with you. Have a wonderful Shabbos.
Good Shabbos, good Shabbos, good Shabbos.